provisions of the open meeting law and banning gatherings of more than 10 people. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. Public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time. Persons who wish to do so are invited to review the meeting, and you have the information that was on the posting. If you're calling in on a phone, you can press 9 to request to speak. If you're watching on a computer or a device, there is a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options to be recognized to speak. So there we go. You have the big announcement. Now we'll have a roll call of the members, and we will start with Craig Anderson. Are you here?
Yep, here.
Craig Anderson here. David Benjamin, are you here?
Here.
Here. David Dow, I am here. William Frontville, he
Yo.
is here. Fred Geisel, you are
I'm
here.
here.
Mike Kale.
I'm here for Mike. Mark Cole for Mike.
Mark Cole is here
Cole,
for Mike,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Steve Cady,
I am here.
he is here. Jamie Marshall is no. Donna Polizia,
Here.
Donna Polizia. Barry Pett,
I am here and I need to make a Chapter 268, a ethics declaration that a matter that's coming before us this evening from the Gloucester Rotary Club. I am a member, yet I have nothing to gain financially, whatever, and none of the other members of the committee or the presenters today gain anything financially from their participation in this project.
okay, thank you, Barry. Anyone else have a declaration to make?
I also have to abide by that same declaration. Full disclosure, I am a member of the Gloucester Rotary Club and I have no financial gain in this matter, so that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Anyone else? Okay, we shall move on to the agenda. The chairman's remarks are going to be short and sweet. Thank you all for participating. I will ask for your patience and persistence while I try to get everybody through this. And we shall do that. So next on the agenda will be the secretary's report. Has everybody read and understood the secretary's report? Wish to make a addition or correction?
I'd like to make an addition if I could. Mr.
Go ahead.
Chairman? Yes, I just like, and while we continue in Zoom, I would like the meeting minutes to reflect that people can go on the City of Gloucester website and view the Zoom presentation of the meeting for any specifics or to review any matter, not covered specifically in the published minutes.
Okay, you mean the recording of the meeting?
That's
Afterwards
correct.
is- Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
it's
point
there.
out that the recording of the recordings of the meetings are generally available about a month after the meeting, as far as I
Yep.
understand.
Yeah, it depends
So that would
on
be
how
an
much time.
addition at the end of the minutes. Is that what you're
Yes.
suggesting?
Yeah, just suggesting that that's put out to them so that if at some point if someone wants to check something, they could check something maybe in more detail than the minutes. Then you're not a
okay,
court
so-
stenographer.
How about if it was a statement that said, in order to review the meeting, you can check online at blah, 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 giving you a
Sure.
citation?
Yes,
Okay,
to review the
I
Zoom
can add that
presentation.
to the bottom.
Sure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the secretary's report?
So moved.
Excuse me?
Then I second.
who was that, Fred?
Yeah, I second.
Okay,
Fred.
it was also suggested that the minutes reflect who makes motions and seconds. So let me do that right now. Fred moves. And who seconded? David?
No,
I second, Fred, second.
So, oh, who made the motion?
I'm,
Say it again. Steve?
Steve Katie,
yeah,
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, and that's part of why also under the Zoom regulations that every vote, even the meeting, the vote to adjourn has to be done by roll call.
roll call. Yeah.
Just all part of the,
So now
It's
we
all-
take a roll call for the secretaries.
it's part of the Zoom stuff.
Okay, so we'll go to a roll call to vote for the secretary's report.
Yeah.
To accept it. Craig Anderson,
I,
David Benjamin,
Yes.
David Dow, aye. Bill Frontville,
Abstain.
did you,
He
yes.
said abstain because he wasn't there.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Fred Geisel,
Yes,
Steve Katie,
yes,
Jamie Marshall, Barry Pett,
Yes,
Donna Polizia,
yes,
All right, here's a question. Barry, you might know the answer to this. Can this just be recorded as a unanimous vote? Or or when you list the roll call, do you have to list everybody each time?
no, in your minutes, you can list it as the roll call vote was, say, 6 in favor, 1 absent, 1 abstain.
Okay.
Do it that way.
Yeah,
But
good.
you
Thank
must at least state the numbers,
Yeah.
not that it was that. You can say, if you say it was unanimous, you still must say it's
I
like,
didn't say
say,
anything about the number. Yeah, I got you.
what I'm saying, if you do want to vote, you would have to say 9 say in favor and 0 opposed.
Yeah.
You must include the numerical numbers when
Got it.
you make statements. That's all.
Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Barry. So I think we're done with that.
Yes.
Okay, under new business, the Rotary Garden Club plan.
Memorial Garden.
Mr. Chair,
Memorial Garden plan.
Okay, Memorial
public
Garden
comments.
plan.
Fred's asking.
we didn't skip,
Right.
we skipped public comments.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Public available
we did.
here.
I skipped public comments. I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that.
that's my fault.
I did do that. Is there anyone wishing to speak under public comments? Being nobody has raised a hand or pushed the button,
Now,
there's nobody under public comments. Thank you.
thanks, Fred.
So the Rotary Garden Club Plan Memorial Garden, those wishing to speak, would you please begin with whoever and just state your name as you begin? And we'll start from here.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Michael Saraf. I would like to take this time to thank every one of you guys for allowing us to present our project. I'm a longtime Gloucester Rotarian. I will be the president of the Gloucester Rotary Club in 2023. With me today from Gloucester Rotary Club is John Duggar, Audrey Pratt, and Tracy Arabian. They're also a member of Gloucester Rotary Club. In 2023, Gloucester Rotary Club will be turning 100 years old, which coincides with the city of Gloucester 400-year anniversary. The Gloucester Rotary Club members, among several different projects, have decided on a memorial garden for our centennial project. The memorial garden will be at the Stage Fort Park by our playground. The garden will be for the community youth and will be targeted toward the elderly and the handicapped. It will be built and maintained by the Gloucester Rotary Club the same way we build and maintain our own playground, which is at the Stage Fort Park. Okay, I thought somebody interrupted me. The same way we build and maintain our playground. There will be no burden to the city, but rather an addition to the city's many amenities to our residents. John Duggar, who's from the J&D Architecture, has designed the garden for us. and the board of the Gloucester Rotary Club unanimously approved it. So here we are today, we're asking your permission to allow us to go forward with our project. Everybody got the design, the site plan. So at this point, I'm going to open it to the committee to ask us any question, and we can go from there. Eventually, we go in front of the DPW and the mayor's office. So this is our first step.
To interrupt, along with the city council.
Yes, thank you.
I believe with the DPW, it would be kind of an informal, just bringing them up to speed. But formally, you would be going to, you would write a letter to the council chair, and they in turn would get it on the agenda.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, I think it's more than just a courtesy to the DPW. They actually have a fair amount of control over the park and its activities. So I think they are an essential part of the approval process.
They are, the DPW is the ultimate initial approval. Without the approval of the DPW, and Mark could speak to this if necessary, but until the DPW signs off on the project, it would not be able to come before the council. It wouldn't go anywhere in front of the council without the support of the DPW.
Right.
Okay, I thought it was reversed. I thought you go to the city council first, and then they would bring it to the DPW, and at that point, we would get on an agenda as far as what would it be? What board would it go through first?
It would go to planning and development
Right.
subcommittee. But the point is that what I'm saying is that anything that would come before the city council, unless it had the support prior to coming to them, unless it had the support of the DPW, it would never carry any council.
Right. And we have no approval power. All we can do is recommend.
Right. This
support.
committee is an advisory committee, and the DPW would make its commentary to the city on behalf of the administration. But the important part is that the council wouldn't be able to approve something. In other words, some things might be, say, an unfunded mandate, unless the DPW or had other plans for that specific location, something else, etc. So unless we had the support of the DPW, we would not get, the council would not go forward with anything. Is that correct, Mark?
That's good, yeah. You would definitely have to come to us first, or come to the State Sports Park Committee and us, get approval from us before it actually goes to council. And again, I've looked at this. My initial thoughts, I don't have any issues, any drawbacks, any reason why we wouldn't go by, we wouldn't do this. But ultimately, Mike Hale has the final say on that. And I'm sure when you come before Mike, it's probably going to be, it'll be an informal meeting with Mike. I mean, we'll make an appointment for you guys or somebody from your group to come to our place and meet in the conference room, go over the plans. And I think the key things that you need to be able to tell Mike is what type of plantings you're going to do, because he's going to want to know, what you're putting in the park. Does it fit in the park? Is it easily maintained? Your maintenance plan for the park. I know we've had a good relationship with the Rotary, with the playground. Steve's been good about replacing equipment that's broken. And then he gets it to us and we get it up. I'm assuming something like that would be what we would do with the garden. And I haven't I haven't really looked too closely, but I mean, like the brickwork and stuff like that, you know, that's something that's gonna wear down over time. You know, the benches, those, I don't know, I mean, are you ordering like the same type of benches that we have around the city? Like on the boulevard and stuff like that, or are these gonna be different benches?
We had planned to have stone benches.
Okay,
So
Okay.
just say that again.
More durable. Granite,
yeah, again, like I say, I don't have any initial hesitation to do this. But you would have to definitely, you know, get a hold of Mike and come before Mike, make the presentation to him. And then
Is that okay?
I think if you have our support and you have the support of the Stage-Foot Park Committee, when you go to council, that makes it a more presentable project at council. It makes it easier for them to make their decision, you know, based on the fact that both our group and your group, you know, support this project. So I think that's the best way to handle it.
Yep.
Absolutely, and that's why we started with you guys first, and like everybody else mentioned, we're gonna go through every proper channel, and we're definitely gonna do that, and looking forward to meeting with Mike Hill also. And as far as, you know, the equipment, the same thing with the playground, when they do wear out, we are gonna replace them, and the bricks are replaceable, so at least that's what we've been told, they're easily replaceable.
Okay, how is, what's the funding for this? Are you guys gonna do? I'm trying to think how you did the playground. You guys installed everything for the playground, paid for everything through donations, I believe, and then donated it to the city, correct? Is that
Correct.
how that, I think that's how that worked.
Right. We're doing our own fundraising and internally and externally, but everything is going to be done by us. And as you
Okay.
mentioned, then we're going to present it to the city.
Okay.
Mark, it would be similar, Mark, it would be similar to the way we funded the playground. In this
Right.
case, those bricks are gonna be, we're gonna be selling naming rights to each brick at X amount of dollars. So that would be one option. We'll probably be selling the benches as well. And who knows, we might sell some other things as far as the landscape goes.
Okay, as long as all the money is through donations, then you don't have to go out to bid on any of the work, or you don't have to do prevailing wages or anything like that. You can just, if you're self-funding it, then you can do it, pay for it, and then, you know, donate it over to the city. That makes it a little bit easier project for you guys to do, because you don't have to get into the bidding process.
Absolutely. Yes.
Unless we decide to go into, well, one of the other funding areas through the city, which then in that case, we would have to, like the CBC or some of the other possible state, federal, and city funding. In that case, we would have to abide on that specific to everything that goes along with that, as opposed to us just going, we would have to go out to bid. We would have to comply to Davis-Bacon. Is
Right.
that correct?
I think that's correct if that were the case.
Yeah, that's correct. But you could do, I mean, if you got money from some different city sources, I think there's, as long as it's under a certain limit, certain thresholds, you don't have to go out to bid. And like if you wanted to buy, say you wanted to buy the granite for the benches, and it was gonna be under $10,000, you might just have to get 3 quotes, or you might not even have to. It just, you can do certain parts of the project through like CBG funds or something like that. And as long as it's below certain thresholds, it's a little bit easier than like if you were to do, like if you were to put the whole project out to bid, everything associated with the project would have to be done at prevailing wage. It would have to go through the public bid process. So there are ways you can do it. Just when the time comes, talk to us. We'll run everything through purchasing to see what they have to say. And my guess is that if it's very little of this would have to go through a bid process from the looks of it. Do you have like an overall estimated cost for everything that you want to do?
Well,
John?
we're thinking about 100,000 because it's a 100,000 year project. So we're thinking around 100,000 with everything, including landscaping, everything.
Okay. I think once you get the approval for the project, I think at that point, then maybe we sit down with the purchasing agent and we go through the project and how you're going to do the project. And she'll be able to tell you, what would need to go out to bid, if any part of it would need to go out. It might only mean that you need to get some, you might just have to get 3 quotes as opposed to just, picking somebody out of, that that can do the work. You might have to get 3 quotes to do certain parts of it. It's all going to depend how the funding comes in and what each part of the funding is for.
Okay.
Mark, now, one of the other aspects of the project is that it is going to be wheelchair accessible, handicap accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This is detail. They could work out with the
Yeah.
DPW.
So you might be able to get some CDBG money for that.
that's possible.
This sounds like a DPW planning meeting.
Okay, how about if we go through the roll call here and let each member of our committee ask a question if they would like. Greg, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Greg, you are muted.
Craig?
I didn't realize I was muted at first. I don't have any questions at the moment, but I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Craig. David, how about you? Do you have any?
I'd like to hear a little bit more from the committee about specifics around the sighting. The photographs, just a little bit vague.
Yeah, I guess I can answer that.
Maybe John could answer that, yeah.
Basically, what we took was a low spot in a rolling hill area.
The flat spot on the hillside in
Right.
between I was down there the other day. So that's your intention. So you wouldn't be needing to make a lot of contour changes.
That's correct.
Okay,
The advantage of the natural bowl that's there is that we're planning to have this thing be pretty much self-watering. The
drainage would not be an issue.
Yeah, it's rain gardens. And then that's going to play toward what Mark asked about with the vegetation and whatnot. Or
Yeah.
low maintenance vegetation.
May I ask about the gardens specifically?
Mhm.
Start with a comment. They don't look very big.
Well, it's
39 by 39.
No, just the garden portion.
Oh.
I'm looking at the spec drawing now.
mhm.
The gardens look to be maybe 10 foot in diameter or something. Plus you have the circle going into them.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're hopefully trying to make it as much of the surfaces wheelchair friendly,
I get it, yeah.
walker friendly. So some
And
of
what's the surface next to the bricks, the gridded surface?
we have some areas of crushed stone and stone dust basically, which will play into the laying of the bricks because they have to be laid
Yeah.
in sand.
Right,
And then the gardens, I think we're leaning toward having some color variation in the trees.
okay,
Basically, they're surrounded by more shrubbery and flowers
yeah,
that will basically feed off the droppings from the trees.
okay.
It's fairly standard operating procedure. I'm not one to infect my clients with highly high maintenance vegetation.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Just
Yep.
try to keep it simple.
May I also ask about sight lines to the ocean
Mhm.
from within the circle of where the benches are? How tall will the shrub, will the specimen trees get? 12, 15 feet? Or,
That's about it.
yeah,
We're going, I think I'm leaning toward dwarf maples because they do so well around here.
sure.
That, then perhaps rhododendron, azalea, possibly some broadleaf evergreen plants.
Thank you. Now I have a question for the Rotary gang. And it's around the concept of the memorial bricks and benches. Could you raise your money to do this project without selling bricks and benches and other things, as Steve has suggested?
We could possibly do that because we have our own fundraiser. We can sell the bricks, but if we could possibly do that. If this is what you guys recommending, we could possibly work around it.
Well, let me ask if I could just sort of interject here, David and Dr. Mike. I think, did this not come up sort of in relation to what was done at the World War II Memorial, where bricks were sold not only as a fundraiser, but a way of memorializing those people who had served. And in this case, my guess is you're going to be selling bricks to memorialize previous members of the Rotary Club or their families or something like that, or something that someone wants to memorialize someone in the community. I mean, I think that's the idea here. It's not the idea that you're trying to raise the money to be able to build the project. It's the idea of being able to memorialize someone in a not in a concrete way, in a brick way.
It's not going to be limited to just the club as far as those bricks go. It's
Exactly. There is a way people can go online and actually buy the bricks if they want to.
But isn't that sort of the essence of a memory park? To remember those who've come before?
exactly.
Nicely.
That's what I'm saying. That's the idea. It's not the idea of raising funds. It's the idea of memorializing someone.
And if you can raise funds in the process, all the better, right?
Yes.
Of course, yes.
Those are the only questions I had for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
David Dow will be next. I think I will reserve judgment for the moment. And maybe I'm being a little premature at this point, but I think this is too big of a project to vote on tonight to begin with, and we'll see that how it plays out. But I'm a bit of a dissenting voice here, but I appreciate what everybody's trying to do. Bill Bill, would you like to make some comments?
Well, only that I certainly don't see it that way. I'm not sure where you're coming from on this. If it were to be, say, a $40,000 project, you'd be for it. But now you have to think about it. What difference does it make to us?
Are you speaking to me, Bill?
Well, actually, I am, but to everybody else as well, of course. Yeah, I just wanted to know the root of your hesitation.
My hesitation would be, I think the park is getting a bit cluttered. And I'm not sure that this is a project is a benefit to the park. I think I have to know more about it and think a little more about it. But at this point, I don't think it's a benefit to the park or the public. The park is better off being natural and open and not having a whole lot of man-made projects put upon it. I think we have enough as it is. But at this point, that's where I am.
Okay. Other than that, I don't have any questions.
Okay, Fred Geisel. You have any questions, Fred?
Yes, here, I'll just unmute myself. I do have a few questions. particularly with a lot of hardscaping in there, that if we're building in an area which is a bowl, then we can collect water, and particularly in the off season during the winter time or spring, like just we had last week, a week ago, with a lot of heavy rain, that the water would collect in there and then be, kind of could be a mess. So I'd like to see the area where this is being planned staked out, or at least marked out, so we can see that, and then maybe we can offer some suggestions as to what might be done. Having a bowl is fine as long as we have the pavers, the brick, and any hardscape material built up so that the water drains off. And if it drains off towards the landscaping areas, that would be good. So maybe, having it laid out, and maybe having a cross-section view of how this would be constructed would be beneficial to understanding that. I just grew up in my parents' house when they put a brick patio in the lower level, and there was no place for the water to drain. So it became a constant maintenance issue, water collecting and the ice in the wintertime, and then in the springtime being kind of a muddy mess. So we had to kind of rebuild everything because it wasn't really thought out. So that would be one of my main concerns, and to make sure it's not in a traffic area, but also if we're having it handicap accessible, where would that access be, from where to where? Where it'd be a pathway, where's that going to go, and make sure that meets the ADA requirements for slope and et cetera. And it doesn't have to be a paved pathway. It can be a, kind of a cinder pathway that a wheelchair can operate on. So those would be my concerns. But I think we'd like to get some more details and have this thing, if it could be marked out in the field, and let us know that it's been marked out. And then we can take a look at that and maybe suggest some ways to make sure it works properly.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Steve Cady, do you have any comments to make?
I don't have any at this time, though.
Okay, Jamie is not here. Donna Polizia?
Yeah, I'm all for more gardens, so I would support this, but it would be nice if we could have a site visit to have a look to see where it's going, and, see the area and whether it's going to interfere with. I know the city sometimes uses that whole field as a parking lot, which I don't agree with, but, they might have something to say about it. But I'd like to see on the ground, but, I would support this.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Barry Pett?
Yes, a couple things. I think obviously this is early in the process for the Rotary Club. And I'm glad they're, at this point, coming to the committee and also to the DPW, because some of these issues need to be worked out if it is to be approved. And I think probably with coordination with Mark, if the club, maybe John, since he's the architect here, could make arrangements to stake out the area. And I know he had talked about the bowl area. I think the garden is going to be level. So I don't think it's a question of water pooling, but to be able to see all this in person, if we could get it staked out where people would be able to go see it and see how it may fit in, and whether it does, again, whether the access continues, the ADA access continues from the playground area, which is quite well done and designed for families to be able to take their children to the playground, even if people do have disabilities. And then obviously this based on the location I see, would be a continued path from there. But I think it would be very good if we could see it staked out and everybody could, whether it was either together or, as a site visit or individually, so that, and then you could come back to this committee for further input and their advice. They have the whole park here to, oversee. David Dow has made some his comments about what he would like to see, and others have said, what they may support or not. So I think this is just a first step, and then you need to, I would like to see it staked out, and then I'd like to see, after people have had a chance to take a look, I would like to see you come, back again, and maybe in between now and coming back again, you get to have that sit down meeting with Mike Hale, and he can make his commentary and see what type of support he does or does not have for the project. And I would, I might even encourage, say, David Dow as the chairperson of the committee, to sit in on that discussion, just so that you can come back to coordinate next time you come for a presentation in front of the committee.
It might also be a good idea to have, if in fact you're going to have a site visit, ask either Mark or someone else from DPW to join you at the site.
Right.
Okay, I agree. I think well, in fact, I know I did a site visit. Steve, Katie, I think you were there, just an informal walk around. We stood. You guys decided maybe this was the place for it. So I think staking out and marking and some of them other questions that have come up need to be answered. I don't think they all can be answered tonight. If it's appropriate, what I would suggest or what I would entertain is a motion tonight to continue this to another meeting and give everybody a chance to think it out a bit more and get the site markings and get everybody's input. We should be able to get more people on site with distancing to look at this once it's staked out. So is there a motion to continue?
So moved.
Seconded?
Second,
Who's that?
Who is
Fred.
that?
Oh, Fred, thank you.
Fred, thank you, Fred. So we will move this to,
we have to take a roll call, Mr. Chair.
take a roll call. Yes, we do. Thank you, Fred, keeping me.
You have to actually ask for discussion on the motion before you go to the roll call.
So discussion on the motion.
So there's a discussion on the motion. All those in favor?
No,
Again,
roll call.
Roll
Yeah,
call.
do the roll call now.
Okay, I'm trying to do that. Okay, I'll do that first.
Yeah.
Craig Anderson,
Yes.
David Benjamin,
Yes,
David Dow, yes. William Fontville,
In the interest of full disclosure, my wife is a current member of Rotary and a former president of Rotary. I think, I'm not sure if it comes down to a vote of support or not for this. I'm not sure if I'm entitled to vote, if I would have to abstain, but on this simple motion, I think there's no
sure.
conflict whatsoever. So I would vote yes to continue.
okay, thank you, Bill. Fred Geisel,
Yes,
Michael Hale, Steve Katie,
As with Bill and also with Barry, I don't believe there's any type of conflict here as far as voting to continue in a site visit. So, yes.
yes. Jamie Marshall, John McCarty, Donna Polizia,
Yes.
Barry Pett.
And again, there is no conflict, and yes.
Okay.
Good.
So the vote is All in favor, no opposed?
Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in favor.
So,
8 in favor and 1 absent,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
8 in
Yeah,
favor,
yeah,
1
yeah,
absent.
one absent. Yeah.
does that finish this?
That finishes that issue. Should thank the Rotary Club for
Okay,
coming.
so I think we're finished with the garden until we can put the necessary things together.
Can we, can I ask a question in terms of who might be, would John Duggar be out to stake this out, locate it? And let David Benjamin know that it's been staked out and maybe we can schedule a site visit, or how will that happen?
Just like that.
Oh, just like that, okay.
I think,
Like that.
You described it beautifully.
John, I think you need to coordinate with Mark, either Joe Lucido or Mark or Mike, and get permission to do the staking, that's all.
Good point.
Okay. Okay, thank you all very much. We will continue on with old business.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Rotary
very much,
Club.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you to all the Rotary members.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And of course, you're all welcome to stay if you want to watch the rest of the proceedings, but we won't blame you if you don't.
Restoration.
Yeah, okay, we'll
I'm
continue.
already gone.
We'll move on with the Ford area restoration. We are continuing on with that. I think you all know that the money for the construction plan and the survey was awarded, and Beta is in possession of the contract to do that. They have not as yet been on site yet because they think they need to wait until the surveyors are through. They are hoping that the surveyors will be on site this coming week, and that would probably take them about 2 days to do their survey. Their surveyors will be accompanied by environmental people discussing some issues that Beta is bringing up. I do not know what those issues are, but we're finally moving into getting some boots on the ground. And I don't have a timetable of when they'll be done, but I think they're interested with all the delays and everything with everything. I'm sure they're interested in keeping the thing moving along. So that takes care of that. Are there any questions on that part of the project? Any questions?
No,
No questions. Okay.
No,
The cannon restoration is in the same place as it has. We're continuing on. The second cannon carriage is about to be completed. Having some little issues with supplies, which I'll get worked out here shortly. So the plan would be there would be 2 cannons available this summer to display or whatever, and then we'll work on the 3rd and the 4th. Let me see, David Benjamin and I and my nephew, Brett Ramsey, who has provided the transportation and storage and that kind of thing, have applied to the state for a license to fire the cannon. There's all kinds of stuff that has to go on with the state, then take a test, be awarded a license, follow a whole lot of rules and regulations on that, which certainly we can do and be able to do. So all that is in the works. So the cannons themselves are going on. What I would like to do in the near future, and we'll let everybody know, is since the carriage is being built at my house and the cannon is in a container in Essex, it's a bit of a challenge making sure that you're getting everything right, even though we have some plans from the museum, Constitution Museum, they leave a bit to be desired. So rather than have a big event and try to put the two pieces together and have something go wrong and be pretty embarrassing, I'm going to arrange to get the cannon, the carriage over there, pretty much set it up underneath the cannon, do the final fitting, adjusting of the parts. There's a lot of large through bolts and pieces that go in to hold the thing together. And then have everybody on the committee, some people from the city, whoever might be interested, come over and take a look at it. They'll see the cannon that was restored some time ago. They'll see the Constitution cannon, give them a better idea of how everything is going to look. And then at that point, we can, with the city, try to decide what to do with those two cannons, since the fort area, the fort itself will not be completed at that point. So that's sort of some unfinished business. I have been pretty steadfast in following recommendations from the Clemson University study on paint and that sort of thing. And I have been in touch this week, because it's time to order the paint, to purchase the kind of paint that was recommended, which actually comes from a custom mixer, so to speak, of paints that would have the same mil specs as the original paint, color, et cetera, and that company still exists. They're very well able to do it. However, their operation has changed a bit, and you have to order 4 gallons of this paint, and it's about $220 a gallon.
Oh,
So I think I might have to depart a little bit and find somebody that makes a paint that'll be a little more, a little bit cheaper anyway, and match the same color that is asked for. But this is kind of the thing I've been going through all along, is you run into these stumbling blocks of things have changed. So
David, could I interject for a minute?
sure.
I think if you would like to get in touch with me, I think there may be members of the community that are very philanthropic. And if I'm not talking about, paying for entire restorations and things like that, but if, if keeping true to the restoration is using this paint, there may be many ways to be able to get some contributions to pay for those types of things. So if you get in touch with me afterwards, we can have some discussion and see what we can do.
Thank you. Well, that's possible, but still, we could probably paint 2 carriages with 1 gallon of paint. And we're going to have a lot of paint in storage then for a long time. And I don't know, but hey, I'm open to anything, and anything's possible.
You can put it down in the city archives.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we don't have enough room in the archives now. Which maybe I can just throw this in there. When we're all done with this, all of my files and everything will be put together, and we'll present the whole ball of wax, nuts and bolts, to the Archives Committee, and that's where it will stay forever after. So I won't be hoarding all of this project and paperwork, et cetera, et cetera. It will go to the archives.
Yeah, Brett and Ellen and Max and everyone will appreciate that.
Yes, they will. They will. Max is most happy to move forward. We are hoping we would be able to fire that cannon 4th of July, but God only knows what's going to happen. But the other part of this licensing issue does take some time. It involves police checks because it's a firearm, basically. It's a huge firearm and gunpowder, and so they gotta make sure that we're basically not gonna try to shoot the tower out of City Hall, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not
That
sure
all
what
does
the-
take some time.
Okay, just again to interject, I know that I don't know if you're aware, but we do have an assistant harbor master who is licensed for Cannon Fire. I'm not sure at what level, whether he could do this, but you may have someone right in the harbor master's office that may be able to assist there. And if you are talking, as even when I had suggested before, whether it be during Schooner Festival or if we were able to have fireworks on the 3rd of July, if we're going to have the cannons at the, if they're, the site where you're going to fire is at the cannon fort, we would be able to provide the proper rubber mats to cover any and all cannons, you know, other than for the firing. And I was during fireworks, there wouldn't be any possibility of anything happening to any of the cannons that had been refurbished.
We would have to be well removed from that, but, okay, so does anybody have any questions on the cannon part of this evening?
I was going to ask if we could return to the Fort area restoration, because we did not mention the report to the council and the mayor, which was about.
Oh, I did. We did, David and I put together a letter and some information. We actually had asked several different administrative officers what was the best way to do this, but we wanted to make a presentation to the council that we were falling behind on the funding to get this done before the 400th. And that went back and forth, and it finally ended up, and I think Mark Cole was involved in that. In fact, I know I was, and it was suggested that we make up this report, and we sent it to the mayor's secretary, who was going to put it in the envelopes for the city council, or packets, I think they call it. So we did do that maybe a month or so ago, and we have not heard back on the status of that.
Yep. So, you know, the council did receive the, in their packet, they did receive the letter from the chief administrative officer from the, no, it was from the mayor and her administration, and the DPW detailing the financial aspects. That has been, the city council is in receipt of that information. So they are all aware of it.
Okay. Is there a number that the city has used as to funding for the restoration as their
No,
part of the CPC funding?
As far as the city funding, not the CPC portion, but the city, the mayor just gave just 2 days ago, actually yesterday morning in hand, gave the city's budget. I haven't had a chance to look through it. But then once we go through it, the Budget and Finance Committee of the City Council will address all different departments. Mark would probably have a better idea what date, I don't know, is the DPW's, budget stuff for this type of thing is on a specific date for the council, the Budget and Finance Subcommittee to review, et cetera. But I haven't had a chance yet to review, but the mayor's budget is available at this point. That's her presentation. And so I don't know if there's something in there at this point.
Somebody else have a question?
I have a comment. And the comment is that after several calls to the city council president, asking questions about, our concerns about funding. And after submitting this, this funding query, if you will, to the mayor's packet, we haven't heard from anybody at the mayor's office or the city council
Okay.
to say, thanks for sending in your concerns, we'll.
Okay, let me, David, to interject now, you said you contacted the city council, Steve LeBlanc, the city council president, by,
David Dow did, yeah,
Yes,
several
Okay.
times.
okay, by phone or by email or,
All of us.
probably both.
okay, and you have not had a response yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, I will try and get in touch with him tomorrow and see if I have an answer. And also, so you know, Melissa Cox is the chairperson of the Budget and Finance Subcommittee, and she's the one that will be dealing with the actual budget issues. So I'll try and check in with her, but again, I'll go first through the council president, Steve LeBlanc, see if I can get any information, whether he just, notified Melissa to take a look of what you had said, and et cetera. My guess is that they're, the immediate concerns is what's going on, in July. They're not looking at the forethought that you are, that in order for all this to get done for the 400th, that certain steps need to be going, happening even now. So I will try and get in touch with Council President LeBlanc tomorrow and have a discussion with him on your behalf.
Yeah, well,
Thank you.
to be clear on that, I did have one discussion with Mike Hale, who thought that if the money arrived, he could, and we had a successful survey and a construction contract out, he could still get the work done. But that left the money question out there. So my purpose was to let the council and the administration know that we are behind on the funding and through no fault of our own. And that if it's going to take longer, so be it, as long as you people know this is where we are, and we're not going to blindside them, 6 months before and say, well, we didn't get the money, so we're not doing anything. So as
Correct.
long as
Your
everybody is
letter-
aware,
Yep.
that's where we
Your
are.
your letter was very clear on that point, and my guess is each and every counselor is aware. Again, I think they all go through their packet, so they are aware of it. I'm just not sure what thought process has gone through to have action starting, today or this month. So again, I'll try to get an update for you, and I'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
Yourself and give you an update where that is, and then maybe for the next meeting we'll have another we can have a further conversation.
Okay, thank you. I believe we explained the delay in the funding at our last meeting to our committee members, and so I think we're all set on that, and maybe except for the comment made by I think it was Jamie, if the planning process got done in time, we could, even though our 2020-21 application was not voted on, so it's history, we could then apply for the same amount of money through interim funding, which is what we did with the 800. So there's still a little open window there, but it's not much. But so that's where we are. So I think unless somebody has any more questions, I won't ramble on anymore, and would entertain a motion to adjourn.
You have to ask if there's any other business.
Is there any other business?
I have a question.
Yeah.
And back when we were talking about say master planning for our participation in 2003, one proposal was to extend the little footpath that exists currently from Beachmont Avenue into what's essentially the parking area of Sageport Park, and to dedicate that as a path to Ravenswood that would go up Beachmont and Old Salem Road. Is there even the glimmer of a possibility of something like that happening?
To the best of my remembrance, Bill, when the Steve Winslow proposal was tabled due to the parking ticket funds and whether the state would get involved and all that, so that killed that entire project, which was like 2.3 million or something like that. But I don't think that's gone any further since then. I am in possession of that plan that shows all that, but I don't think there's been any plans, at least from our end of it, to do that part of the park.
Okay, I'm just asking because right now there's a two-family home that's being built adjacent to that, and there's some controversy about the future of that little path or who it belongs to, and et cetera, et cetera. So I just, whether it's even still being used. So I just wanted to be really clear about the status of that from a planning point of view.
Maybe you could make something up and get it to me. Maybe we should be looking into that, because if you've been reading the paper lately, there's people in Rockport that bought property across the street from Back Beach a couple of years ago, built houses, and now they think they're going all the way to the water. So if there's a possibility we're going to lose a path due to somebody building a new house, we better be on top of it.
Yeah, okay.
I would appreciate that. I'll try to get people moving forward. Yes, absolutely. Good point. Thank you. Any
And
other?
may I ask Bill, again, the name of the street that the path was on?
Beachmont,
Beachmont,
right?
Beachmont Avenue.
for the minutes, yeah. Beachmont Ave.
Yeah, if you're basically, it's kind of a continuation of Old Salem Road that
Yeah.
terminates at the park.
Mhm.
Where does it terminate at the park? So,
Well, if you went in a straight line,
It's above the parking lot, just next to the dog park, sort of in between the two of them.
In between the parking lot and the dog park,
no, I think no, it's farther down with respect.
closer to the cupboard.
If you just go straight from that path along the dog park, you just run into a cluster of homes.
Mhm.
It's farther down.
All right.
Yeah, but
Towards
it's
the other
near
end
the
of the
top
circle.
of the parking lot.
It's near, I'm sorry?
It's closer, maybe 100 feet down from the top of the parking lot, probably.
Yeah, probably. It's closer to the, than it is to the dog park.
Yeah, it's almost opposite where the entrance gate is to the parking lot, just a little bit above that.
Does anybody know if it's listed as a right of way or anything like that to the park, or
I don't know.
just a common path?
It's probably been in use for 100 years. I mean, it's just one of,
Okay, yeah.
it's pretty I think it's pretty overgrown at the moment, but
Mhm.
people certainly used to use it, and some still do.
We can find out.
We can ask Mark Cole to have Joe, take on a new job of refurbishing that path.
Ah.
Yeah, I'll let Joe know first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Don't tell him it came from me.
your motion made to adjourn.
Not yet, but you could ask for one.
Okay. Thank you all. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Seconded. Roll call. Greg Anderson,
Yes.
David Benjamin,
Yes.
David Dow. Yes. Bill Frontville,
aye.
Fred Geisel,
Yes.
Steve Patey,
Yes.
Jamie Marshall,
Not here.
Not here.
Absent.
It's not here.
Donna Polizio,
Yes,
Barry Pett.
Thank you all for your volunteerism to the city. Yes.
Okay, thank you all. The vote is
2, 4, 6, 8 in favor of adjournment.
motion is carried.
Why not, sir?
And no date for the next meeting yet, so. We will keep you posted.
Thank you all very, very
Okay.
much.
Good
thank you.
seeing
Thank
everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye, Craig. Good, we got